We have had to wait for a very long time for this to happen. We have had to wait for over 2 weeks for the stay updated button to change to order now here in Australia, and here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is National Tesla and the Gong. Let's order ourselves a Model Y. This video is going to be split into 3 parts roughly. The first part is we're going to look at the website and see what we can order and look at what are the features of the Model Y on offer at this time. The second part of the video, we're going to look at the first look video that I did. It's a separate video, but I'm going to touch on a few parts there and give you a little bit of an overview. And the third part of the video, we'll discuss briefly what are the quirks with regards to this order, and we'll take it from there. So this is the order page, and right off the bat you can see that there are 2 models on offer: the rear wheel drive Model Y and the dual motor all-wheel drive Model Y Performance. The rear wheel drive Model Y starts off at 68,900 but a drive-away price of 74,311 here in New South Wales. And let's look at what are the features we have. We have the paint options just like in the Model 3. The pearl white paint is included with the cost of the car, whereas the black, grey and blue will set you back by 1,500 Australian dollars, and the red multi-coat will set you back by 2,900 Australian dollars. The red is a popping color, particularly with the black trims. It looks super gorgeous. Now the 19-inch Gemini wheels are included. If you want to see these Gemini wheels up close and personal, there is a vehicle in Chatswood, Sydney. If you can't go there, do check out Tesla Tom's video. He visited the Chatswood Center and they have the 19-inch wheels. Whereas my first look video had these wheels which are included, which are the 20 inches, absolutely gorgeous induction wheels. So you can see that in my first look video. I will link that in the description as well. Now, so let's go back there. So the black is the included interiors, and if you want to make it a white interior like in my first look video, it is $1,500 extra. Now this is something which we have to look at. The seating options. We do have the 5-seater interior which is included with the cost of the car. But if you went to the US or the Canadian website, there is another option which says 7-seater option available, which is not here. We do not have that here. So I reckon we may get that along with our long-range Tesla Model Y. So we'll just backtrack a little bit. We do not have the long-range version yet available here in Australia. So that is something to consider if you are looking to buy a car where you wanted the better range. Why I mentioned that is because when you go into the Model Y Performance, it has a range of 514 kilometers, but we all should remember that the performance versions have a slightly lower range because of the way they've tweaked up the motors and stuff. So that is important. So if you want the 3.70 to 100 kilometers eye-watering speed, then you may want to look at the performance. But if you want a slightly more range, I believe the range on the long range is about 550 kilometers WLTP. That is something which you may look at. For people who are first-time buyers, do look out for this particular word, WLTP, or another word called EPA. Now, these are the ones which are reflective of the real-world range of the car. If your car's range is quoted in NEDC, do check out the NEDC to WLTP conversion online, because NEDC is not even damn close. Okay, it's a joke, but if you see a competitor's website which quotes your range in NEDC, do be aware of that it is not even damn close to real world range. Rightio, now let's look at the Model Y Performance. The base version with the black interiors will set back by 105,590. And the only things that you can add on the performance version are the colors, which are exactly the same cost as in the rear wheel drive car. You can also change the interiors, which will set you back by $1,500. Now let's get ourselves a top of the line Tesla Model Y Performance with the red multi-coat paint and the white interiors with a 5-seat option. It'll set you back by $111,595 right now. Rightio, let's look at some of the features. We can see the 0 to 100 kilometers and the top speed, but this is something that we have to look at. So the Model Y has a range of 455 kilometers WLTP, and the Model Y Performance has 514 kilometers. I believe that the Model Y long range will have a little bit more than this. I believe it's nearly the 550 range, if I remember right. Now, the next thing is the basic autopilot, which comes standard with the car. You don't have to add the FSD package that I talked about. So we will not be adding that, and we can get a sort of a glorified cruise control, so to speak. It does keep lanes. It'll judge the distance between cars and so on and so forth, and also it'll keep away from the pedestrian lanes and all of that. But this is an important thing that we have to remember, that people who are buying Teslas for the first time do not know that all of the advanced safety features come as standard with the car. Most importantly, the emergency braking, collision warning, and blind spot monitoring. I wouldn't say it is 100%, but I've had a recent experience with emergency braking when a car in front of me just slammed the brakes. I would have probably hit the brakes as well, but I would have been a wee bit slower, maybe a second slower than the car. And in these kind of conditions, that 1 second would definitely matter. In this case, yeah, I was able to bring the car to a halt almost immediately when the car in front of me just slammed the brakes. Is it 100% good? No, it is not. It has to be taken with a grain of salt, but it is pretty good for a car of this class, and it is great compared to many of the cars out there. Now, next one is the easy charging option. Of course, here it says it can add 261 kilometers of range in 15 minutes. But this again must be taken with a grain of salt. This is the ideal that it can put in. There's up to 261, and that is only if you're using the V3 Tesla superchargers and not the V2 Tesla superchargers, which is more ubiquitous here in Australia. So unless and until we get all of them changed to V2, it is not that great. Again, it says easy charging, but yes, it is easy charging. We do have lots of chargers all around Australia. But the asterisk there is if you are using a normal, usually plied route. So if you're just going around the west coast or the east coast, yes, you can charge reasonably well with Tesla's existing chargers, particularly after the recent upgrades in the recent past. But if you are doing an outback trip, or if you're doing a cross country, or even if you're doing a circumnavigation, you can't do it very easily with the Tesla's own network. And that's where all the third-party networks come in, or you have to rely on the included mobile connector. They used to include the high power wall connector previously, but no longer is that available as a free option. It is a paid option. I believe it is 780 Australian dollars to get a high power wall connector. Now, the over the air updates is one of the best things for any Tesla. Our cars it really become better with every update. Most of them are bug fixes, which is great, but then we do get super features as well, and every year we do get new versions where there is a huge lick of paint to change the whole thing, and then there is some extra stuff as well. Now, this is a great feature in every car because there are multiple cameras. Right now the cameras can be used to record all around the car, and it will act as a deterrent for people who are trying to steal our cars. We can't directly access them on the mobile app yet, but we are hoping that will come very soon. And if you are at a place where you're most common to visit, like home or office, you can put it in standby mode to conserve battery as well. Now, the space in a Model Y is absolutely expansive. If you have watched my other video where I've done a side-by-side comparison of a Model 3 or Model Y, which I'll link in the description of this video, or if you watch my first loop video where I've done a short comparison of that as well, you'll note that the cavernous space is absolutely awesome. It is deceptively small when you look at, but when you go and stack your things in, it is super large. Now, the next one is the Tesla mobile app, and this is one of the most amazing features. You can control the car, you can open the boot, close the boot, close the lock the car, and so on and so forth. You can do summon, you can set the climate if it is too cold or too warm remotely. Before you reach the car will be optimally ready for you to come, and the upgrades, whatever upgrades you want, can be done through here as well. And this is also a great place where the Tesla customer service or Tesla service center will contact you through messaging services, which is pretty awesome too. I want to backtrack a little bit because there are two things that I want to look at. One is in the main page. If you go all the way down, you can see the two models that are available at this time, because that is something that we should check out. If we go all the way down here, right here. So if we come to this section, you can see the performance and the rear wheel drive cars are pegged against each other. You'll see that the weight of the long range performance version is 1995, whereas the rear wheel drive is 1909 kilograms. The rest of the things are very similar except for the range and the number of motors here. So the rear wheel drive is a single motor car, whereas the performance dual motor car has two motors, of course, and the wheel do change as well. Now there's one more thing I want to make mention over here. This is the 15 inches center touchscreen. The touchscreen itself is unchanged to our previous Model 3s and the rest of the Model Ys elsewhere in the world, but the newer Model Ys and the newer Model 3s as well do have the Ryzen computer. And in my brief view on the first look video, I did notice that there was some change in the way that the screens behaved. So that is important to remember, that we get a better and upgraded version of the car than our US counterparts for most instances. Now let's go back to the order now page, and I want to mention one more thing. So here in New South Wales, as in the rest of the states as well, we can be eligible for these rebates, but unfortunately New South Wales, the car must be sub 68,750 including GST. So we may not be getting this at all, and the stamp duty exemption is $7,800, which we potentially can get if you get the base version with the black interiors. You can get that. If you get the next version with black interiors, you will get that. The gray and the blue with black interiors and 19-inch Gemini wheels, you could get that. But if you go to the red version with the Gemini wheels and the induction wheels and the white option, you will not get that. So you can see the way that this may change. So this is something which you may want to think about. A quick reminder, the 19-inch Gemini wheels always give you the better range rather than the 20-inch. So the more the wheel span, the range does drop a wee bit, although it does look absolutely gorgeous. Now that is something to remember. If you want to make a booking, you can go ahead. It's $350 non-refundable deposit at this time, and then you can order with your card. It takes about 5 minutes to configure and about 5 minutes to set this into order. Now I did do a comparison video of the Shanghai versus the Fremont Tesla Model 3, not the Model Y, the Tesla Model 3, and I found that the Shanghai version had better paints. The paint quality and the finish was slightly better than the Fremont version. So that is something to remember. So it is not a made in China car. It is a made in Shanghai car with Tesla making the car. Now let's look at the first look video and see what are the things that we can find here. Rightio, now we come to the Quirks section, and for this we need to switch to the US counterpart, and that is easy for me to talk about the Quirks. You see, there is no rear wheel drive Model Y in USA. They only have the long range Model Y and the performance Model Y, and the long range is which is missing for us. The long range would have 318 miles of estimated range, and you see, as soon as I click the Model Y performance, you'll see that the range drops. So that is about 8 or 15 miles of extra range is what we would get. Now the second thing which we would notice is when you go down this route, you'll see there is a tow hitch option for $1,000 US. It is a class 2 steel tow bar which is capable of 3,500 pounds. I did speak to the Tesla representatives here in Australia, and they said that it will be a paid upgrade which can be ordered via the Tesla mobile app that we mentioned earlier in this video. So you can go and order in there, and you just drive in to the Tesla service center near you and they will attach this. So this is available. This is going to come a little later. They did not give me a number, but I believe it may be Q1 or Q2 of next year that we get this option. So that is one. The second thing is this one. We do have a 7-seater option where a third row It's a smallish kind of a row. I do have a 7-seater Model X, and even in the Model X, the third row is quite tight. The Model Y is smaller, or rather not as long as the Model X, so the third row will be a little tight, and probably a child can manage there. There is an easy entry through the second row, and it's quite easy. They just flip the second row forward and you can enter into the third row, and it is also having sliding adjustable seat backs. It has USB-C charging option there, so it's not too bad, but I don't think it'll be great for an adult to sit there. So these are the two quirks that I found. Now this is something that I wanted to make mention of. You see, it's $12,000 to have full self-driving capability, and it is 10,100 Australian dollars for us. So they did increase from $10,000 to $12,000 when the beta FSD program came into fruition in US. So that is something which you may want to think about. You may want to have that FSD option. I'll show you what are the features there are on FSD, and then you can make the decision on your own. You may want to add that to the cost of the car if you think that there's something that you really want and you don't want the price to increase when you're going to buy the car. So what are the things that are there? The automatic lane change. This is a great feature. This does work even now, so it'll automatically change lanes if you're on the highway, and even in city streets it does work quite well, but not as robustly as a human driving at this time. The navigation on autopilot is pretty cool too, and then there is this other feature of auto park, where particularly in parallel parking situations and in reverse parking into a non-parallel parking lot, it is absolutely cool. And we must remember that we do not have cameras anymore. Sorry, we do not have any radar anymore in our cars, and this whole thing is going to be just vision based. Of course, summon is there. It works to some degree. It does bring the car out. I have some summon videos in my channel as well. You can check them out in my playlists. So it's not that great, but it's reasonably well. The traffic light and stop sign control is a sweet feature, but it's not an absolute must, I must say. Of course, the self-driving computer comes standard with our cars. And that is that. So you can decide if this is something that you will want to look at. So there we go. We have come to the end of this video. We have had an extensive video. I'm hoping that people who are looking to buy these Teslas, these Tesla Model Ys here in Australia, would have found some use with this video, and they have some information at hand to make a decent choice for their own. I'll see you guys in another interesting video very soon. Until then, this is Nash from Tesla in the Gong, signing off. Peace.